When thinking of symbols associated with the history of the United States, you might think of the American flag, the Statue of Liberty, maybe even Uncle Sam. Or perhaps the first thing that pops into your mind is the bald eagle, a majestic icon of the United States dating back to our country's infancy. But how did that come to be? My name is Stephanie Merkelbach, the librarian in residence in the Rare Book and Special Collections Division. And today, I would like to share with you the story of how the American bald eagle became a symbol of the United States. The story first begins, like all great American tales, on July 4th, 1776, when soon after the Continental Congress declares independence, they establish a committee to design the Great Seal of the United States. Historically, these seals are used on international treaties or to authenticate documents sent between officials. But this seal would first and foremost signify the United States as its own independent and sovereign nation. And you might be asking yourself, have I ever seen the Great Seal of the United States? And the answer might surprise you, because you may be carrying your own copy of the seal in your pocket. Though the Great Seal is now most often depicted on medals or plaques, it is also depicted on the reverse side of the dollar bill and on the front of our U.S. passports. But the Great Seal went through many stages before finally landing on the now famous bald eagle and Eye of Providence. Assigned to the first committee are some familiar faces: Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams. Each of these founding fathers would submit a design with varying images depicting scenes from the Old Testament or mythological figures, but notably, none of them would feature the bald eagle or a bird of any kind. All three designs are scrapped and not accepted. A second committee forms after the Continental Congress returns to Philadelphia in 1778. And again, Congress would reject the proposed designs, with not a bird in sight. A third committee is formed in May of 1782 and includes heraldic expert William Barton. And it is Barton's proposed design that first features an eagle, though bald this eagle is not. This design is also not accepted. Finally, in June of 1782, Secretary to the Continental Congress, Charles Thomson, proposes a design that includes elements from all previous committees, including, you guessed it, the eagle. Thomson, however, makes a point of specifying the American bald eagle as the centerpiece of the seal, with a red, white, and blue shield across its chest. And clasped in its talons are an olive branch and bundle of 13 arrows. The Great Seal's first die would then be cast in the summer of 1782 and has greatly remained the same since. An early depiction of the seal is featured in the early American publication Columbian Magazine. These illustrations would depict both the obverse and reverse of the seal, and were created by James Trenchard, who wrote the accompanying articles. And though his illustrations are considered the first public images of the seal, they were not official and have some slight differences. Most notably, the randomly placed stars surrounding the eagle on the obverse and the use of a right eye on the reverse. Later depictions, as seen in the Otto Svendsen broadside, have the stars above the eagle, neatly arranged, and the Eye of Providence depicted using the left eye. Now, one might assume that the bald eagle jumped straight from our Great Seal into its role as our national bird, right? Wrong. Surprisingly, the United States did not establish a national bird until 2024, after a bipartisan effort to introduce it into law. And though this time it did not take 4 committees to decide on the bald eagle, 250 years is a long time to wait for national bird status. Of course, some of us might recall the proposal of Benjamin Franklin to have the turkey as our nation's symbol. Sadly, this story is a myth, though rooted in some truth. Benjamin Franklin, despite never including a bird in his own design of the Great Seal, did take issue with the chosen bald eagle on the final seal. And in a letter exchanged with his daughter in January of 1784, he jokingly says, "For my own part, I wish the bald eagle had not been chosen as the representative of our country. He is a bird of bad moral character. The turkey is in comparison a much more respectable bird." And to that I say, come on, Ben, what did the bald eagle ever do to you?